Let's just try and catch a vibe, or let's just do it. Don't overthink it.
The cosmos is also within us. We're made of star stuff.
My name is Heaven Creator, and I am an undergrad here at UIC, earning my bachelor's in their College of Architecture, Design, and the Arts program. This is where I spent a lot of my time, here at the Art and Exhibition Building. Right now, I'm a senior finishing up my thesis year, which is a year-long experience of artists making works in preparation for the final exhibition show at the end of the school year. This is Jim Crow Shows the Kids, originally a 4x6 inch piece, so it was pretty small. I think I started small because I was used to making art online for so long because of COVID. And we weren't even sure if we were going to have an in-person thesis show, especially because our BFA studios were online as well. One of the critiques I had gotten was to work bigger because of the context of the work. And so I did end up redoing this piece later in the year, a little bigger, into a 18 by 24 inch piece. So gradually throughout the year, I started working bigger and bigger. This is Chow Time, a 9 by 12 inch piece made with acrylics, paper, cheesecloth, and UV resin for the water. I kind of felt a little self-conscious about this piece being small in person because of the critique that I got before that, this kind of work in this context should be bigger. But I think I appreciate it being smaller because it kind of forces you to get closer to look at it in detail. This is I Just Growed, and it is a 16 by 20 inch piece that actually did not make it into the thesis show, because it was invited to participate in another group exhibition show, and the timelines of the two shows were not on the same path. The show for this piece opened in January and wasn't going to end till April 17th, and then I wasn't going to be able to pick up the work until the 23rd, whereas our thesis show opened on April 15th and was over on April 22nd. So the timelines of the two shows were very different. This one is one of my favorite pieces because I think it's the closest to the kind of work that I personally enjoy making and have made in the past, which is more so like character design and, making these cutesy kind of childish things that I like to make. And so I was excited to make a sort of character and get loose and fun with the features. I had fun at the opening exhibition, and I was really glad that I had family and friends come and see the work and celebrate a fun accomplishment with me. This is Strange Fruit at a Picnic. This piece was 60 by 80 inches big and was probably the most difficult project that I've dealt with. I started this project very differently than how it ended. I initially wanted the whole thing to be made out of paper coming off the boards, but it was looking more like an elementary school project to me, so I scratched the idea and was battling between painting a tree on the board directly or making a 3D textured tree. Because I knew either way that I wanted the tree to be big in size. I went with the 3D idea and used spray foam as my tree. I then decided it not only needed an extra layer because it was too flat, but that it also needed to come down to the floor. So I extended the trunk of the tree and gave it actual roots that pop out. This is where the trouble started for me. As I put the second layer of the tree, as it started to firm up, it also warped my board, and it created this kind of permanent curve in the bottom portion of the project. And I think it also got so heavy that everything was starting to fall apart, and so essentially I had to destroy the bottom of the tree and redo the entire bottom half of that board. I did that, and I found more trouble when trying to transport the project to school. It didn't fit in my car, and it didn't fit on top of the car because of the wind and the rain, and so essentially I had to destroy the project even further, take it to school, and then re-put it all back together once I got to the art building. The physical labor of making this and the research for this was difficult. I often found myself taking breaks in between completing this because it was just so much. This is what the project looked like once I was able to get it back together in one piece at the foam fruit and the hands. One of the critiques I got for this work was that the bottom wasn't as thought out as the rest of the project, and I totally agreed because I did do it last minute. So for the exhibition show, I went ahead and bought bags of dirt, added it to the bottom, and this is how the project looked when it was finished. This is of okra and cotton. This is a 36 by 48 inch piece. For the second semester of Thesis, I wanted to explore the same themes that I had before, but through African American cuisines and food culture. This actually didn't lead me to the end goal that I thought it would, and essentially I cut the project short and decided to just focus on 2 to 3 pieces that surrounded the idea of Black culture and food. I even took one of the pieces out of the exhibition show because I feel like it didn't visually give the context that I wanted it to without having any writing about the work. I didn't feel like it was strong on its own like this piece and my other piece, which ultimately I felt was an issue that I had with the project series as a whole and struggled with the whole semester. This painting took me about 2 to 3 weeks to finish. There was a lot of slow decision making in the process of making this work because I was very indecisive of how I wanted to go about it. But in the end, I'm very happy how it came out. This last piece is called the Shoebox Lunch. This was an installation piece that I had made for the exhibition show. I sculpted all of the food out of clay because my original idea to actually cook the food and then cast it in resin didn't go so well. I set this project up in kind of a dining room setting. I really wanted the viewer to feel like they were the ones packing their lunch to go on a trip somewhere as they read the text that I had at the table. I felt that both of Cotton and Okra and this piece were strong enough on their own and could lead you to possibly having a deeper conversation or thought process that goes beyond looking at like an image of food without me necessarily having to tell you that, which I felt like the other piece lacked. So I am very happy with how this project came out as well. I didn't know that I would be making the works that I made this year. I knew going in that I wanted to continue making Afro art because that is just something that I'm very interested in and I'm used to doing. But I did want my work to be a little bit more meaningful. I remember being very nervous about proposing my ideas publicly in the beginning because these are very touchy subjects, and I know that maybe some people wouldn't like or agree with what I was bringing to light. Like, I was really ready for the backlash, honestly, but it was the complete opposite. So I'm glad that we're able to have mature conversations about these works and their context and what they mean. So I'm really proud of what I've done this year. Thesis prepares you to not only make art, but also prepares you on how to talk about your work and prepare it to be seen among others outside of a classroom setting. I think that was one of my biggest takeaways with this experience. It's a very self-driven and take some self-discipline to kind of push those works out and push yourself and get them to where they need to be. The actual show was really great, and we had fun setting up the gallery like curators. We had a lot of classes, staff, and even MFAs trickle in throughout the week and check out our work. And the reception was really fun too. We got to set up the food and serve drinks, meet each other's families and friends, and see professors that we hadn't seen in a while in person. It was great, and I'm proud of it, and I can't wait to see what's next for me after graduation.